So MACKENZIE DERN got checked by Jessica Andrade, and it would be promotional malpractice for me to not quickly speak on it. At the same time, what do you want me to say? What would you have me say that I haven't spent hours already saying? I have been talking about MACKENZIE's overall game for over 2 years now. I started this back in October of 2021 by way of Substack, declaring she was getting better, but still wasn't keeping composed. At the time, I thought her losing composure after getting lit up was the key, but it turns out that isn't the case. MACKENZIE is able to be composed after a flurry or heavy exchange. Maybe she wasn't always good at it, but since Marina Rodriguez or Rodriguez, it has certainly improved. I'm not gonna predict or try to visualize MACKENZIE's next fight or move right now. I'm not going to retread her brand expansion methods and what annoys me. Right now, I'm not going to dig in and go mad on her. I think I'll wait a month or two and look and see what happens within the division. I guarantee you, even with such a bad loss, she is still penciled in for UFC 300. Really quick, I will state that the media pattern is still present, and the story of her divorce and Ruka gym closing will be the cushion for an ass whooped as such. I also want to say that, yes, it did feel good to hear and see things happen that I've been screaming into the void for years now. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the commentary is noticing the issues with MACKENZIE's striking. They discussed her chin, her wild swinging. I couldn't believe it because the last 5 fights she had, the commentary was spinning any event in said fights to lean toward a positive for her. Quick, unrelated note. I also said that Tabitha Ricci and Lupi Godinez would likely headbutt each other, and it actually happen. Anyway, I just want to quickly explain what I think her issue is, or a contributing factor to her overall issue. People can't seem to see what I think I see, save maybe Dan Hardy. Megan Anderson seemed confused. Luke Thomas is kinda speechless about it, and so on. I think these jiu-jitsu specialists have a tendency to struggle with striking more than any other foundation for MMA. BJ Penn, among a couple of others, are an exception, but again, BJ's ground game was where it was at. In MACKENZIE's case, to me, she has developed a striking style that doesn't fit her body and mind. Somebody referenced Betch Correia over the weekend. I've also compared the two before. Dern doesn't have the kinetic know-how. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it. She has the mechanics down, but her body and mind just do not have a certain synergy for MMA striking, or wrestling for that matter. Mac always tries to get the fight to the ground in the exact same way, in that rushing in, risking a couple of hits for a hip toss. Whatever training she was doing with Henry Cejudo didn't show in this fight. Something else I called. I'll say it again here. I didn't think she was going to be able to engage new strategies and approaches that involve leg kicks and takedowns. I was right. Dern has a nice jab, sorta. To me, she looks heavy on her lead leg all the time. Her legs look like they seem to lock up when she fully extends on her punches. It's like a plodding move forward, stifle back movement. Janky, if you will. It's almost like MACKENZIE saw a certain striking style from someone or somewhere else and wants to embody that, but her physical attributes don't allow her. That, or her mind gets in her own way by overthinking combinations, counters, and entries, limiting her fluidity. Everything that happened in this fight with Andrade, I said would happen. That didn't come from random shit talking. I've watched hours and hours of MACKENZIE. As I've said before, I've watched Luke Thomas's breakdown of her 2 times trying to figure out her deal. MACKENZIE's career should be considered critical at this point regarding a championship. I don't think it's the worst idea to come back in July and just skip 300. But knowing how Dern and her team are, if she wants it, they're gonna be stubborn about it. But it might be too soon, depending on who it is. Right now, I don't see anybody around her that is going to be a likely bounce back from this. Plus, I was fairly brutal. MACKENZIE lands, but she struggles to put anyone out anyway. And I think it's the kinesiology of her overall game. In jiu-jitsu, you learn balance in a different way from being on the feet, obviously. We all know that, but I don't think everyone counts that as a factor for her inability to get out of this rut. For her, the factor is now time. She is faced with some tough choices for the start of 2024. If you are subscribed to this channel, then you already know I'll be here with another discussion in proper format once a few more cards pass. A path may show up that's more obvious for her UFC glory, but I'm confident in thinking that this isn't the hype train's last stop. I do think in one way or another, she has come to a fork in the road.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.